What up, Doe? We call this Solutions, not Slogans. I am Angie Starr, part of the Mason and Starr Morning Show, and one of our missions is to find solutions, not just slogans. So today we're going to talk about the youth in Detroit and try to find a solution to end hunger for young people. We want to find a way to make sure that every kid that's hungry gets a chance to eat. So I put together some panelists that I think can help find a solution to this problem. I have a very interesting take. You might agree, might disagree, but just, you know me, I think a little bit out of the box. But we'll get to what I'm thinking a little later. But first, I'm going to let my panelists introduce themselves to you. I'm going to start right here.
Hi, my name is Cass Tretiak. I am an outreach navigator with Community and Home Supports.
All right.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angie Starr, for inviting me. I am the CEO of Make Your Dreams Come True BPO firm, the founder of the Being That Girl agency, a serial entrepreneur, community leader, and thought leader in the community. So I'm all about finding solutions for our community.
Yes, yes. And just a little note, I'm going to come back to you also and then get to you. We participated together in a back-to-school festival for kids, I want to say middle school students and their parents. And I had my little, sunglasses and some little, radio giveaways, and the kids loved me. But then all of a sudden, I lost my attention. And I wondered, what could possibly upstage me? And this young lady drove in like the fairy godmother of toys. And she came in, and it's like the kids knew she was gonna have like really nice toys that they were like, for example, she had the cowboy and cowgirl hats for boots on the ground, like with rhinestones on them, glittery. The parents were fighting the kids for the hats. But that speaks to her passion for young people, and I appreciate that. And that's why I invited you to this panel, because I know you want to give good stuff, not just give something, but give great gifts. So
I appreciate that, and that was such an event. And Angie is right. All of the kids are just dancing around her, dancing on her. They're constantly. Angie is constantly saying, "Move back! Don't knock the DJ dog!" But she's such a great host for Madison Carver Academy. Shout out to Markeisha Stovall, Principal Stovall, who is outstanding, and she lets me run my imagination raw in her school district. I mean, some of the things that we've done is give the kids front row seats to the Babytron Sada Baby concert. They were able to get on the stage with them and party with them. We gave away, we bought brand new clothes from Foreman Mills and took them up there, from jewelry to clothes to whatever. We did a braid fest. We have a cosmetology clubs there, and we put on this really big braid fest where the students was able to braid the teachers, the community, and people here for really cheap. And it was packed. We had food there, music, giveaways, performances, just so many huge experiences that we exposed to them, and it was no charge to, extra for them to participate, simply because we were a part of their school district and we offer those education. And for me, it's not about exposing to them something that's already in their reach. Let's give them experiences that are beyond their wildest dreams.
So, and not to cut you off, but this is how my energy, no, I love this. That's why I like you.
Yes.
But my force, I have a force of angels that work with me, and they go out and they find people that I think fit well together, which makes me segue to this lady right here. The reason I know her is because she's offering a free summer program. And go ahead and break down your motivation for doing some things outside of the box, again, that these kids have never experienced, but you are providing absolutely free. Introduce yourself and talk about your upcoming summer camp.
Well, first of all, how do I come after that?
I got you.
But it was a nice transition.
That's
amazing.
I love the segue.
My name is Lori Corbin. I'm the prevention director at Center for Youth and Families. And yes, we are offering a free summer camp for 2 weeks. Again, knowing that some of our students may not have food in the summer, so making sure that they have breakfast and lunch for our program. But exposure that is my passion. Some of our students will never step outside of their zip codes. So we're actually heading to Ann Arbor for one of our field trips on the 25th, a hands-on museum, because we know kids like to touch everything,
Yes.
so we can go to one, we don't get put out. And then we're going horseback riding.
That's awesome.
I knew you would love it. I knew it. Go ahead.
It's a Black-owned company.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we are excited to just, again, expose our students to any and everything.
Well, let me know if you need the cowboy hats.
That was excellent. And yes.
Yes.
And the reason Mason has signed me up, we had to ask, was it an age limit? It's because they're actually doing a personality testing. Talk to that. Because
Yes.
not only feeding them, giving them out-of-the-box experiences, they're teaching them about themselves.
Absolutely. You know, my passion is specifically for Black and brown girls. I grew up in Southgate, which was predominantly white. I went to U of D Jesuit, which is a Catholic school, again, predominantly white. So I really struggled with identity. I struggled with who I was. I struggled with my hair. I thought my lips were too big. My body was too big. I'm like, looking back, I'm like, girl, if I could get that body now.
Oh my goodness.
If
please.
I could get that body now. But I feel like a lot of us, even adults, we can talk a lot about areas of growth, but we struggle with talking about our strengths.
Come on.
We struggle with talking about what we're good at. So I'm really just looking for our youth to be exposed to everything, to meet people who are amazing truck drivers, who are radio stars, who are CEOs, who are just any and everything, so they can see themselves in others, and not to compare, because we know that comparison is the thief.
Right.
But being able to say, wow, she came from where I was,
Right.
and she made it, and not comparing ourselves what success looks like. Success is different for all of us. We get to determine what our success looks like.
But
Yeah.
you give them like a test, right?
Yeah, so it's a
Check
personality
this out.
test.
This is what Mason want me to take. That's
It's a personality test. We're doing goal settings, talking about SMART goals, because we want to make sure, I love the R in SMART. So, you know, the specific, the measurable,
Come on.
achievable, but the realistic.
Amen.
What is a realistic goal for me? And how do I set it? And then the T is timely. But again, being able to know who you are, who you may mesh with, how you may have a conflict from someone else because their personality is this, your personality is that. But how do we get on the same page? How can my strength support your strength?
and I'm all about that.
I love that.
I just believe God put, that's where puzzles come from. And if you look at the jigsaw puzzle, the pieces are all different sizes,
Yes, they are.
but all so important.
Exactly.
You know, just because it's a chunky piece don't mean it's the most important piece. That little, you feel what I'm saying?
Ooh.
So we all are on the same page.
And there's
here.
the other analogy that I love that I have when you speak about that puzzle piece is a forest. When we're driving down the highway, we can see how beautiful the trees look. They look like they're perfect together. But if you walk through that forest, you will see the broken limbs, the holes in the trees.
I
the
love that.
Different changes of those trees. But those imperfect trees are making that perfection, right?
Come on, girl.
So that's the same, and I really believe in collaborating over competition. That's one of the core goals of my organizations is to collaborate over compete. And if we learn how to do that more, we'll succeed. How we're talking off camera about everything that all three of us did and how we just became a part of Angie's puzzle piece,
Yes.
right? So I just really appreciate everything that you guys are doing and appreciate being a part of this conversation, Angie.
Well, thank you. Now I'm going to go to Cass. Tell us all about your organization and what you do.
So I am an outreach navigator at Community and Home Supports, and what that means is all of my clients are experiencing unsheltered homelessness. We have a specific youth program that targets 18 to 24-year-olds that is just as comprehensive as our other one, but I think in some ways there are more opportunities for the youth because part of the logic with YHDP is, can we nip this in the bud? Can we stop, can the cycle end with you? Can we set you up for success, meaning that your children will never go through this? Or if God forbid they do, you're doing all right and they can come move home with mom and dad and it's not a problem. But a part of what we also do, we have a shelter nav team, so we have a navigation team that goes into the homeless shelters for both youth and adults, and they will do their housing paperwork to try and get them into supportive housing programs. And then we have our own case managers because we have people that we house And then the outreach folks, that's me and my coworker Thasnia.
Yes.
We do both adult and youth age. I find myself working with the youth a lot, but we meet them where they are. We go to the bando, we go to the camp, we meet them wherever they're living in their car, and we help manage basic needs. So like food, water, clothes, tent, let's repair your tent, stuff like that. Vital doc restoration, so they got no ID, no social security card, no birth certificate. We work on restoring that because we also do their housing navigation packet. So we submit it to CAM, the coordinated assessment model, to put them on a waiting list to get them into that supportive housing. And while we wait for that, the way I explain it to clients is I am here to make this as bearable as possible for you.
Wow, that's
I love
okay.
that.
That's
I just feel like you don't know what you don't know. And the fact that you want to provide them with knowledge is power.
It's a
love
part of
that.
why I built that map that we were talking about. My pet project, my baby that I've been working on for almost 2 years now, is the needs management map. It's a custom Google map where there's multiple layers on there. It's meant for anybody. I was targeting people experiencing unsheltered homelessness first, but it kind of expanded from there, where there's stuff for like homeless services and referrals, basic needs, so places you could go for like hot food, laundry, showers, free or low-cost medical care. There's youth-specific stuff for like 18 to 24-year-olds, LGBT-friendly stuff, food pantries, affordable housing that is voucher-friendly, and bus routes to then show you how to get there. So trying to put it all in one place is a lot of work, but also has been very helpful, especially for the youth, because they're much better with technology than some of their older peers sometimes.
Yes, Lord. Yes.
And like they know how to use that thing and how to make it function.
Wow. So, okay, the big question, and we kind of focused in on kids, youth. So I did my research, and I found out, thank God, there is a program that is in existence right now. It's Eat Up and Meet Up. And basically, this program deals with kids, I want to say 18 and under. And what I liked about the program was that they work with schools that already have existing food programs, so they know where the needs are, and they've set up, and their only requirement is that they eat the food right there. But I looked at all of the different programs, all of the different locations, and I'm impressed with what they're able to do. I remember they were actually advertising on radio to get the word out even more. Hopefully they'll come back. One of my suggestions and what I'm looking to do is support this program, help get the word out more, do some type of a fundraiser to help them out. But when I got off the phone with your coworker, she explained to me your age range that you guys work in. And I said, you can't really drink liquor legally till you're 21. So, what about the 19s and the 20s and the 21, 22, what are we doing for them? And I know the focus when we first started was youth, but Eat Up, Meet Up, they're handling that, and we can help expand what they can do. And you can maybe speak to some other programs for the kids. But I wanted to go back to you because I was trying to figure out how to help the people who aren't 18 and under and can take advantage of this program. What kind of solutions can we find to help them? And I will start with you.
Well, one of the first ones that I think of, which is a part of why, that's why I put like amateur cartographer in my little description there.
Okay.
Which was a part of why I started to make that map, is because a lot of times when somebody's in a crisis, they are in crisis mode and they don't really know where to go or what to do, and all they can think about is the right now, and it's very difficult to plan ahead. But I suppose in a way this is my solution, is making this map and making it accessible, and making sure that like things on there are like accurate and the information's correct. So when someone is hungry, There are soup kitchens on there that shows their exact location, hours of operation, the website, the phone number, all of it. If they need a shower, where they can go, there's like pop-up showers through Project Wave, and everything links to their Google Calendar because it does change month to month. I don't always have time to update it, so like, yeah, in my mind at least, that is one of the solutions, is trying to just show people where things are so that they can understand it and what exactly it is they do.
I love it.
I love that. That's so brilliant. I've definitely worked behind the scene on a ton of app projects, you know, and that's one heck of a directory. And it sounds like, you know, they'll be able to really use that. And I love that you're telling them what it can do, because we are in an age of technology, right? And one of the things that I also recognize about youth is their education and their attention spans and their emotional intelligence, right? And sometimes some students get things really fast, but then we have some students who do not. So make the information as easy to understand as possible, so that they are, when they connect, or someone who may not be as strong in literacy or some sort, they're able to still understand, you know, how they can reach someone.
All right.
Yeah.
And do you have anything you would like to add?
Solutions. So I'm actually the outreach coordinator at Detroit Church, and my solution is churches. Like, this is what we're here to do. We are here to serve the poor, to serve the underrepresented, the underprivileged. I can't remember the exact number of churches in the city of Detroit. But
It's a crazy number.
It's like 1,500 or something.
Yes.
You know, why do we not band together to take care of our communities and take care of our people? As the outreach coordinator, I created a forum for people to suggest a family that is in need, creating boxes. You know, you think about the city of Detroit and the number of grocery stores that we have near. So some of our people in Detroit don't have transportation. They can't go to a Costco and go bulk shopping. They can't create, you know, lunches for their kids with healthy groceries. But I feel like our churches need to step up and step out.
Yes, yes.
And there's some other solutions, though, that I definitely have for the youth, is to, you know, some that you can probably add to your app. But the Detroit Phoenix Center just came up with solutions with the age range that you just spoke about, and they actually have a youth bus where they allow them to come on the bus to shower, to sleep, it has computers on there for them to apply for jobs and do classes. It has resources like clothes and things like that if they need, and an intake specialist to help them also place them in homes. So that's a really great resource for the youth. It's the Detroit Phoenix Center, the Black United Fund of Michigan, Buff of Michigan.
Yes.
We do a ton of things for free. We have all sorts of free programs happening this summer as well. And a part of those programs is definitely we're feeding them like catered food every day. And I'm talking like the real cater, not the kind of kids want to fall out, because I'm the one that's getting it, so I'm getting them all the good stuff. Listen, the budget, I blow the budget on the food, okay? They be like, Natasha, I be like, these kids hungry. I can't look at them. I can't look at them hungry. I can't do my job if they don't eat.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So, yeah, so it's beautiful. Just breaking the rules in ways that you can to give them that exposure, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the Buff of Michigan. That's buffmichigan.com. Then we have metplus.org, who has invested $4 million from October until now in giveaways from the youth to the elderly. Every single other day we're doing giveaways on their behalf, and they have resources for ages, every age range, all the way up to the youth, and they bridge the generations from the youth to the seniors so that everyone can learn how to work together as a community, the unity that you were speaking of, and stepping up in those ways. So those are the companies that I manage and I work for, and not only I collaborate. Now, another solution, and I'm gonna shut up because I'll take over the show. So listen, y'all, it's not about how much you can give, it's about what you can give.
Yes.
Right.
It is about what you can give. We can't look at the other person's arm and hand. We don't have the same circumstances no matter who you are, right? So I have in my car right now about 300 bags of Cheez-Its, about 40 boxes of, Rice Krispie treats. So I'm going to break it down and give snacks to, as many families as I can with that amount, right? Because even if I'm providing a snack for kids one day for a 4-family house, that's something that a parent doesn't have to go out and buy those little snacks. Absolutely. And those money add up. That's what I can do right now, right? Absolutely. But you might can do 1,000 boxes. You know what I'm saying? That's what you can do. But the reality of it is if we all give what we can give, we're helping that impact and creating solutions for those that's around us.
I love it.
That's a part of why we do like the basic needs that we do, because it's so huge with building trust. Like, it's going to take a couple months before I can put you in a house. There's all this paperwork and bureaucracy. You don't care about that. I care about the fact you haven't eaten in a couple days, so I can feed you today.
Yes.
It's going to take a while before we get that apartment, but today you will eat, and tomorrow you will eat.
So I want to go, and you don't have to be real specific, but I want to paint a picture for people watching right now. Someone 19 that you've met, 20, whatever, in that age range, living in their car. What was the first conversation like? Just kind of give me an example of what do they say? Are they embarrassed? What is it?
Generally speaking, there is a lot of shame. And that sucks. I hate that there's so much shame. It's a part of why I think so many people don't know where to go, because they don't know where to look, and it's very difficult to admit, like, I need help, I can't do this myself. And I've gone to meet with clients living in their car or the bando, whatever, and they're like, I'm so sorry, it's a mess. I'm like, honey, you live in your car. You don't have to apologize to me. Yeah. You never have to. You should see the state of mine, and I don't live in mine, so what's my excuse? Right. The shame is a big part, but sometimes there is also a sense of trepidation of maybe they've been burned by a system before, or maybe they watch the news and they're worried about funding, or there's a sense of relief of finally something is happening. I finally feel like there's a sense of control of I did something to try and change my situation. Because the thing about poverty, and especially when it strikes very young, is poverty collects interest, not just financially, but physically, mentally, and emotionally. And it is extremely traumatizing. Oh, yes. A lot of times, a lot of our youth, they never really got the chance to be teenagers or dorky 20-year-olds who make mistakes. They didn't get the chance to do that. In a way, they were robbed of their young adulthood because of poverty and trauma. They had to grow up so fast. And sometimes we'll sit down with the youth once they do get matched, and they're like, I don't know how to do this. I've never applied to an apartment. I've never had DTE in my name. I don't know how to do any of this, because they've just been so focused on surviving.
And that's so powerful when we talk about solutions, as you're saying, what you're doing, which is beautiful, but we talk about shame and how it even enters into our space, because we don't know what shame is as a kid. It's often developed based on how other people make you feel. That's where shame comes from. And so the reason why they also is because also decide to sleep in their cars because they can't go to their families, because what happens, they turn into the front page of the news. They need this, they need that. It's a mockery, So that creates shame. But then they can go to these places that we speak about, these outreach places, and the staff is so disgusting that they make them even feel more horrible. And so you know what they say? Oh, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to figure it out myself. I'd rather sleep in the car than a da-da-da, because at the end of the day, you still want to feel human. And I think we all, as individuals, as humans, need to always remember to be kind. You never know.
Now, I got to go to what you're saying, though, because I'm feeling her vibration, and it seems like they care. Are there shelters that are mean?
Yes, that's why the people are ashamed and don't go.
Can you guys speak to that a little more? Go ahead.
Yes. So a lot of times when you're trying to get help, I remember I was going through a very difficult time of displacement, guys, and I didn't want to give my dog up because it was a support dog for my daughter. And just this, think about this from a dog standpoint, but you know how we love a universal language is pets.
Right.
Right. And so we love her. And so we're trying to find a temporary place for her to go until we're stabilized. The response put her down like it was just nothing, or, where are you guys gonna go? We can do this, but it just was very unwarm. So then you figure out, you wanna know what? Let me just figure out how to keep my pet with me to where I go. And then sometimes that's where? In your car. right? But because mentally you're going through so much and you're surviving, that sounds like a good idea if you never have to feel that level of shame of asking for help again. So I think we should really train our staff in outreach programs and places and community spaces where we know you're overwhelmed because you're listening to a lot. It feels like a therapist is going on, and you know you're dealing with these traumatic experiences every day. So sometimes you got an attitude when you calling because you human too, and you going through something. So who can I take this off on? Someone who is lesser than me in your mind, right? So it's a lot of stuff that happens when you're trying to get help. I don't know if you guys all just watched the movie Straw.
Girl.
Okay.
I didn't see it.
Oh.
Go
Well
ahead.
then, yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. 'Cause, yeah, go ahead.
That's the first thing I thought about is being kind. So Taraji P. Henson is the star, and her daughter is, I want to say maybe 3rd grade, but she has seizures, so she has a lot of medication. So it starts off with, I'm not gonna tell the whole story.
Right, but right.
Spoilers.
It's a day. Like when I tell you she had a day from the time she woke up to, you need to get out, I'm putting your stuff out, to she went to work, why you late, people, it was nonstop, hit after hit after hit after hit. And it was like, just be kind. You don't know what people are going through. That simple, how are you doing? And actually listening when someone says, how are you doing? I feel like in this world, we're so fast. You know, someone called me today and was like, hey, how are you doing today? And then kept going. I was like, no, let's go back. I'm fine.
Yeah,
How are
I
you?
love that. Oh, I love that for you. I'm happy you did that.
Let's slow it down. You asked me a question. Do you really care? This is just what you do. But that kindness can go so far to where someone is on the breaking edge.
Yes,
really
and the
does.
straw, but the character also is what we're talking about. It's that she was asking for help. She was asking for help, and everybody was treating her so mean. And I'm like, what in the world is going on, you know? So and that's what I'm speaking to when I hear these things, and it's stuff that we don't think about, but that comes up.
It's kind of why, like, I tend to be very blunt and very honest with clients about the system and how it works. And I believe in that transparency because I want them to understand that, yes, it can be very frustrating, but I am here to make it less frustrating. And one of the biggest things that I think was taught to me by my coworker Thasnia when she was training me, because there's only the 2 of us that do outreach, is that if a client snaps at you and they go off at you, yes, it is very hard to have someone yell at you, but they're not actually mad at you.
No.
They're upset at the situation, they're upset at the system, and you've become the face of it. And generally speaking, someone they can confide in, and so they might pop off at you, and it's okay. And later on, when they may or may not feel bad about it, or be like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry about that, you don't have to apologize. Like, it's okay. I appreciate that you did, but you don't have to. I probably would have done the same thing in your shoes.
And I love that because they're also young, right? So we are just developing, you know, all of these emotions when we're in the 20s. We don't even know how to control ourselves at that. But I ain't started controlling myself till about 35.
Listen, yeah. I'm gonna go closer to 30.
Yeah.
But I think about biases. You know, even for those of us who serve people, some of your biases are just like you don't even think about it, and just sometimes it's us who respond in a manner that is offensive. Sometimes it's just us. So I think definitely staying on trainings of how not to, you know, put your issues, your traumas on other people who are already experiencing and need your support.
And being aware of what you might run into in your particular field. Like, we run across a lot of SMI, which is serious mental illness, substance use disorder, and human trafficking. These are things that admittedly I'm a little desensitized to in a weird way because of secondhand exposure, but it's still important to remember that and keep reminding yourself, like, this is an awful thing. They're having a trauma response, and you need to respond to that as appropriately as possible.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And if I can give a resource as we speak about this, people being traumatic and how to deal with them, Miracle Nord, look her up. Her name is Miracle Nord. She owns 2 nonprofits, LSW and then Breaking Barriers, and they both support what we're here speaking about. One of them is to help the homelessness. So she has different properties that she's personally purchased, and she houses families and, you know, youth for many years now. And then breaking barriers, you are allowed to become a trauma recovery coach with her for very cheap, to become a trauma recovery coach. And then she does trauma recovery, thousands of trauma recovery for youth throughout Michigan. So if you guys need to be, you know, looking to become a trauma recovery coach, if you're looking to have trauma recovery in your nonprofit organizations, or if you need trauma recovery, this is a perfect place for you to go to get a coach or to become a coach, and you're certified by the state of Michigan.
Wow.
I think something that helps too is a friend of mine is a trauma therapist, actually, and she's very, very good at what she does. And I asked for her advice recently to deal with a client who has been self-sabotaging, and he's very clearly like doing this to hurt himself. He was like intentionally skimping on or missing appointments. Like we're on like our 5th or 6th housing provider. And I asked her, like, what do I do? I can't make him care about this, even though I know he's doing it as self-harm. And she explained to me that the way that people react to trauma is actually very predictable. And they tend to fall, in terms of line of thinking, in one of two camps. The first one is bad things happen to me because I'm a bad person. The second one is, well, bad things happen because sometimes the universe is just really random and violence is just a part of the randomness. And so, of course, violence and bad things would happen to me because it's all just random. And once you can kind of figure out, like once our intake appointments tend to run a little long because I talk a lot and sometimes the client has a lot of questions, but like, I'm also trying to figure out which of those camps they fall into, because if I know that, then I can get my like little claws in there a little bit easier and pull them out of it, because sometimes the second one of the randomness is the hardest, because then you have to convince them they have trauma at all and ask them, why do you think that violence is normal? So sometimes even having like a somewhat simplistic understanding like that can also help when someone is having like a response in front of you and you are a direct service provider, especially once it's someone you've really gotten to know very well.
And I think one of the solutions that we haven't provided to our youth yet, of all ages, is a break from social media, a break from technology, right? A pathway for them to have a very safe space to exist as humans without touching technology. And I think that's the biggest differences from generations before this one is that a lot of stuff is not real to them because they see it all on something that was portrayed to be fake our whole lives, right? Television, right? So now we got all of these reality TV shows, these video games, and all of these things they're entrenched in all day long since infancy. A 3-month-old knows how to move around a tablet, okay? The app screens on the phone, all of these different things, right? So they think that this is entertainment, and it's real people doing these things. So what do we do as humans? What are the most impressionable ages as youth, right? We're teaching them something because they're looking at this screen, and now, boom, why? Because they're seeing people kill people in real life, streamed on live Facebook, and they're commenting about it. It's fighting. Kids, youth are having real fights where they're stumping each other like crazy and all of this stuff, and it's normal, right? We gotta let them know that it's not okay because they see it on the screen. It's not something that you repeat. And usually when we're doing and we are watching television, we see that commercial break. Oh, I'm gonna check that out. Why? Because we believe that it's something we should have because it was an advertisement, right? Yeah. This must be really good. They're playing it on the TV. When you realize when you get older, this was just an advertisement. What? I can't trust this. We have to give them what they're missing, and that's emotional intelligence. They're missing that critical thinking skills, comprehension. It's one thing to read a word, but it's another one to understand it. So those solutions and all working together, we have to think of it as a holistic approach, because we can show them where to go. But if they get to where to go and they can't articulate what's really wrong with them, then now that's another struggle, right? That's making now Cass' job even harder because this youth has no idea how to communicate with another human because they're typing. Bro.
Good point.
Bro.
Good point.
That's
why
why
I love that. That's another solutions, not slogans. We're gonna bring you back for that. I like that. That's a great topic. Go ahead.
I have to find out what the company is. I went to a training a couple weeks ago, and this young man, black young man, started a debate team just for that reason. he said our youth need to be able to articulate. So
Yes.
we take them, and it's not, it's debate is debate,
Mm-hmm.
but he says they walk away being able to articulate how they feel,
Mm-hmm.
use the correct words, are comprehending. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is especially just for Black young men. Like, I loved it. So I'm gonna get it.
Okay,
That was
yeah. You guys are permanent with me. We gonna be working together. I like it. And speaking of that, okay, your organization, you have unlimited funds, or do you need funds? Do you need help in the finance department?
Well, I mean, they did just move into a different office, so if you want to carry their desks, so I don't have to. But yeah, I mean, it's always needed. It's always appreciated. CHS is a part of the Detroit's broader continuum of care for homeless services, but we are one of the smallest organizations there. Like I said, our outreach team is 2. It's
Right.
me and one other person. So stuff like that is always appreciated, whether it's material, financial, or if you're looking to volunteer and give your time. It's always appreciated. And I know that the clients appreciate it too. But I think one of the biggest things you could do, like besides donations, monetary, material, time, whatever, is remembering to be kind. I'll never forget when I first started and I did my first intake all by myself like a big girl. I sat there with my client who had been unsheltered for 10 years. And we were talking, and I make a lot of eye contact because that's just how I show you I'm listening to you. And he told me that he got a little like upset and he started to cry, and I asked if he was okay. Did he want to keep going? Do we need to take a break? And he told me that he could not remember, and these are his words, not mine, the last time a normal person looked him in the eyes for that long.
Wow.
And I think that's something worth asking yourself, even if it is just being kind. When is the last time you looked an unsheltered person in the eyes?
Oof.
I love that.
Okay, well, my company, I feel Beasley Media, we own top radio stations in this marketplace. And when I hear from corporate, this is huge to them. And we are trying to find solutions as to how we can help with organizations like yours to get the word out, maybe help with a fundraiser, kind of like what she said, churches. And to a lot of people, radio and what we do is their church. And this is why I like having these discussions, and I'll take this back to our corporate and we'll figure out how we might be able to help you. Because
That'd be awesome.
Just what you guys are saying, and the temperature of this planet, this country right now, is so important. Because I don't think people were created, I just don't think God is crazy. And he made all people for a reason.
Absolutely.
And the simple thing you just said, just being kind. And a good friend of mine that I used to work with, Deb Foster, she created an organization. Don't kill me, Deb, because I can't think of the name of it. But what Deb does and what she was passionate about, and just to give you a little idea that she didn't have to, she was like an executive assistant. So she made really good money to one of the top people at our radio station. But she took all her little extra money and purchased property. And what she did with the property was provided housing for working women that are living in their cars. So basically, you would think that somebody gets up and goes to work every day and they're doing okay. But in reality, they're not. And she exposed me to all of this. She exposed me to women that have jobs and look like they're okay, but they're not. And again, you never know. I say that to right now, life can be perfect for you right now, but like that, life can change.
Man, like that, life can change because we talk about being teen youth and, not ever having a chance to be a child and, everything that we're just speaking about. And I'm just reflecting on my journey as I sit here. And I was a 2-time teen mom. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of shame came with that. So, you have to build a lot of resilience to make it, past those, those things. And resources, what you're doing here is really spectacular because I love the fact that it is a podcast and people are going to see it and they can play this back over and over again to find even us and the resources that we've been speaking about,
right.
Right now. So that's really great change making work, Angie,
Yes.
But the trauma that we experienced, I didn't know it until now, but it drove what do I want to do because of what I experienced. I don't want people to experience what I have. You're going to experience life. Life is going to kick your butt.
That's right.
I tell my child all the time, just be a kid, because adulting is,
Yo,
they
you
lie.
gonna be there, and you gonna be there forever.
They lie.
You're gonna be there forever once you make it. You can't go back,
Right,
So
right.
you can't go back. But I also just thinking about some of the other resources, that you were just even speaking of. I was thinking about this Treasure Within program, which is another client and partner of ours, where they reach out to underserved girls, right, for all the way up to 19 years old. And they work with them on sex education, self-esteem, teaching them how to be a queen. And so they do an event where every year we put on this huge gala, and we get them dressed from head to toes like princesses with crowns. We put them in limousines. We bring out celebrities and special guests, city officials and everything to help them watch them and celebrate them becoming this new queen. So there are so many organizations in the city. It's, again, where do you find them?
Right.
Where are they, And sometimes, because we got to give each other grace too as we become adults, because we were those youth that were surviving. And sometimes our survival journey doesn't stop until we're grown. Mm-hmm. And so we also have to forgive ourselves for what we don't know and how we show up and what we didn't learn, And sometimes because we didn't learn it, we can't teach it. We have our kids fall straight to the wayside because the parent had no idea. So now the kid don't got no idea, and it just keep going and going and going. So this solutions, Angie, this is really good stuff.
All right.
This is really what our youth assistant program is, teaching them conflict resolution, talking about sex education, self-esteem, anger management tools, like giving them coping tools and resources to be better and do better.
Yes.
But not only just for you, these are things you can teach your parents.
Yeah.
In a respectful way. Let me
Okay, yes.
In a respectful way.
So I have some studio guests. And just real quick, if you guys would like to speak or say anything, or if you have any suggestions, come onto the microphone and introduce yourself. Come right on up to it.
Hi, my name is LaTanya Smith. I thank you for inviting me. This has touched me in so many ways. I'm trying not to get emotional. I need everybody information before I leave here. I had a young man living in my backyard. I told Mr. Clark about him since November till like April. It was sad. And I missed how you get in for the first one, solutions instead of slogans. It's so much going on in the world. It's terrible. And the teens some of them don't have anybody. They have no one to turn to, nobody to talk to, nobody to rely on, nobody to count on. Today, as far as the solutions, a few came to mind. Thank you. And it went from old school to today. Now, as far as when I say old school, is gathering young children and teaching them about planting and growing their own fruits and vegetables. So something you can harvest and come back to, and finding some type of funding to help with that. Then to get to 2025, ask AI. I asked ChatGPT, how can you help the kids that are hungry during school time? Pop-up pantries. Go to the kids. Find them. Like you said, the Eat Up and Meet Up is age limited.
There you go, babe.
And then there's kids older than 18 that need something to eat.
There you go.
I barely have, but I fed that young man from November to April. We can volunteer as parents. as community citizens at the local food banks, team up with the Meals on Wheels and see if they could get to areas where people can't get out to donate or deliver lunches to help the young and the seniors. God is good, but the young people that aren't aware of the goodness of God, they're just lost. Mm-hmm. And they need organizations like you ladies. The young men are in trouble out here. And for whatever reason, displacement, single-parent homes, poverty, whatever the reason is, we need some type of help for them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
God,
you.
I'm
Thank
standing
you.
up.
Yes.
Wow. Whoa. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that was heavy.
Woo.
That was what? Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
I was gonna
All right.
say, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So speaking to the gardening, Central Detroit Christian is a nonprofit organization in Midtown, and they have a gardening program, and it's specifically for youth that have graduated. But they have a summer program where they teach you how to garden,
Right.
and they pay you.
And they pay. So look, Mason, he had some other stuff he had to take care of today, the emergency. He not yelled at me, but he lectures me because I'm a very creative person and I think out of the box a lot and I kind of overdo it. I do. You got to find balance in what you do. So I'm so glad you said what you said about planting because I'm going to run this tape for him because my idea was fish farming.
Oh, I love that.
But he broke it down. You don't know how much it's going to cost. You don't know that. So he said, you don't have enough information to bring it up today. But I'm bringing it up, Mason. Because my idea, and I don't know what the deep details, but when I researched fish farming, it's not a huge expense to start it. People pay for catfish on the high end, $13.99 a pound. On the low end, like $6.99 a pound. In the middle, about 10. You sell 5,000 fish. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? My thinking was you could work for food. I still remember one morning someone told me about the fact that people get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and wait to be selected. And they might not even get selected to pass out the pamphlets. And I said, it's no way this exists. But I went and I saw it with my own eyes. And I saw people up early who were turned away. So right then I said to people want to work.
Yeah.
And then you can't have a job that requires all this basic job.
Yeah.
Fish farming, real basic. But you can pay a good wage with that. So me just thinking a place that people know that they can go, work at least 3 hours, get paid a nice little wage, $10, $12 an hour, because again, from the fish, you make money from the sales. This is my little mind. And they would always get a fish sandwich. But no.
I mean,
Yes, but you want to know what? It's not a little mine at all, Angie.
Okay, but
I'm following it, right? So listen.
You always get a good fish sandwich. Where you go?
So definitely, it's not a little mine. This is a great idea, and I am that girl who made dreams a reality. I got everything to make that happen, right?
Really?
There is a teaching program, literally, that just came out to teach families and youth and anybody who wants to learn how to fish. It is a fishing program, right? And then what we also have is the Crane Street Garden. It's on the east side of Detroit where you can plant in the community garden to grow your fruit, your food. That is also a client and a partner of ours. We also have 49 after-school programs where we teach gardening, fashion club, game design, cosmetology, t-shirt design, movie, and therapy. So when I say there is resources and you just have to know what they are, but this fishing idea mixed in with the gardening, I'm telling you, that's
That's a whole
gold.
meal.
That's gold.
That's a whole meal.
And then you turn it into retail.
Okay.
Yes, we love it.
You said I'm telling you, because I was like, I've got it written down. I'm gonna show you. Mason's like, don't do it. You're not prepared.
There's also
Like, let me do it, coach. Let me do it.
put me in.
So one of my, I call him a gift for the neighborhood. He's just amazing to me. He just does not stop. He's on my head. What we doing? What we gonna do? Okay. I'm trying to, I'm dealing with a corporation. We gonna move. Dice, come on and get on this microphone right here. This is Dice Clark. He is, you when you see who he is on camera, you go, oh, that's the guy on Facebook. That's the guy on Facebook when somebody said they saw a kid begging at a party store for food, and he looked like he was about 13 or 14 and looked like he was in need, called Dice, and what did Dice do? Where is he? And got on Facebook, we need help. And I'll let you speak to what you do, but this is Dice Clark, everybody.
How y'all doing? What's up,
For the
ladies?
community.
How y'all doing?
What's up, Dice?
What's up, Natasha? Y'all all right? I don't know where to start. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm just for the community. I try to be everywhere. I just rushed back today from Lansing with Force Detroit and probably about 10 other organizations for CVI, for stopping the violence on guns in the neighborhood for our young kings. Like you said, a lot of our young kings are lost. So I just try to be involved with everything, feeding the seniors, homeless people, kids, everybody. Just anything that got to do with the neighborhood, helping the community, I want in.
So what are you finding with youth and hunger?
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's real bad. Like she said, even with seeing it today, it's terrible because most of these kids don't have a home. So they trying to fend for themselves. That's why they turn to crime. You know what I'm saying? So it's real bad. But I'm going to give a shout out to Derek Coleman, who started, we was up at Henry Ford High School, what y'all talking about, with the different rooms. They go to different schools now, and they have the refrigerators for the kids to come in there to eat.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all know about it yet.
No.
was just there.
Tell us about it. Tell us.
But it's big. I just learned about it. I just went and joined them. Henry Ford High School was one of the schools, but they doing multiple schools. They trying to do it all over Michigan. So they'll look into it. Derek Coleman, he created this. So each school have a room where the kids who don't have food can eat. They filled up the refrigerators, 2 corners. Michigan and Michigan State. It was dope. But it's full of food and drinks for the kids to come there throughout the period of the day if they don't have nothing to eat, to just go in there, get whatever they want. So that's a great thing for all the high schools.
All right.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I gotta go because I'm looking at my clock. Lord, we
Yeah.
moving. I like this. I really do. And God, he know what he doing. So I just gotta ask for closing thoughts. I'll start with you, Dice.
Well, you know, I've been on your head about this for sure.
Y'all know,
man.
right.
This is the dope thing, I think, because I'm big on that. Solutions, not slogans.
Right.
I'm all about figuring out before we even have to go through this. So, again, my biggest thing is that the community got to come together. We can't worry about the government, the state, none of that funding. We have to come together.
How do we come together?
Wake up, just
I mean, but
knock on
do
your
we need to
neighbor's
have
door.
like a big city? What do we need, like,
Well-
to get this on a bigger level? Like, we've got the voice of the radio. We can announce it, but what do we need to do? Because people need to know.
No, they do. And it's going to be hard because we've been this way for a long time. But I think most people got to look in the mirror and start with themselves.
Okay.
Clean your own backyard. Start on your own block. Learn your neighbors. Help your neighbors out. Build relationships on your own block first. And then as you create that block, y'all go to the next block as a whole. And we continue to do that as we grow. But I think everybody got to start at home first.
All right, Dice Clark.
Yeah, thank you.
Period. Drop the mic. No, I'm just Go ahead. What's your closing thoughts?
My closing thoughts is that this was an absolutely amazing conversation. I'm so happy to have met everyone in the room and hear, the solutions is really what I am. I'm an execution sort of person, but since this is about, solutions and what we can provide to the youth of all ages, we can provide to them the Spirit of God. Having the Spirit of God is going to really guide you and build them, and they're going to see that in you, right? And that's going to run them toward Him, because we know ultimately when we have no one else, we do have the higher power. We do have God Almighty, Jehovah. We
All right.
have Him. So the other thing is just being really, don't be a gatekeeper when it comes to organizations and things because you want to keep it to yourself. With MetPlus.org, we've been giving away thousands upon thousands of Nike Dunk gym shoes to teachers, students, the community, and we're asking families like, how many pair of shoes do you need? How many pair of Nikes? You'll be unbelievable that they asked for 16 pair. And let's be reasonable. When you do get with some people who care and want to give your family something, do not overtake, because we're not going to be able to service the people who knew. If you know your kid only got one, you got one kid, don't ask for 4 pair of shoes.
Absolutely.
Get the 1 pair that you need and allow for that family with 4 kids or 3 kids, all of their kids to be able to get it. So as you are learning the resources and you're meeting the community leaders that Angie is bringing to the network and Mason is bringing to the radio, be conscious of what you're asking for and love your neighbor by not taking advantage of the system.
I love you.
I love that.
Thank you. Like, oh my God. Closing thoughts from you.
I would probably say I do agree. I kind of think it starts with the self. It doesn't cost anything to be kind. And I think at the end of the day, myself, my colleagues, everyone at this table, we're going to get up every day and keep doing our jobs and choose to be kind, and no one gets a vote on that ever. But I also think it's important to remember that the homeless people in your neighborhood are your neighbors. They live in your neighborhood. They're a part of your neighborhood and a part of your community. And I just think that I think you got to be more neighborly.
Yes,
in the most blunt way. And I also think that maybe another small thing to ask is, when is the last time you looked a homeless person in the eyes and you asked, like, how's your day going? Or had a conversation with them? Because I think it's a good reminder that could be you, that could be me, it could be your best friend, it could be your partner. Most people in this country are a few missed paychecks away from
You better talk
being
about it.
completely unsheltered and having nothing.
Listen.
Say that.
Yeah, you could be like me. I be dancing with the homeless men. They be like, "You so fine." I be like, "Oh no, hype me up, brother." It's, but you gotta be real with them, because that's gonna be the energy that they need to come back to life. Or something, just like it was the snap that made you lose it, it's also a snap that help you come back too.
Yeah,
so your energy is what helps the snap either way it goes.
That's real.
You can decide whether you're gonna be they breaking straw or they saving grace.
That's real.
Whew.
Closing thoughts. I'd say networking. It is not comfortable. I will say that. It is not a
Agreed.
comfortable thing for me. I was at the event as well with Derek Coleman, and I'm in a room of people who are looking for being able to provide resources. So I just started talking. I mean, if we all have these different platforms, why can't our city be taken care of? This is a perfect example of what that looks like.
Excellent. We call it solutions, not slogans. I am Angie Starr, part of the Mason and Starr morning show. Yeah, we got stars right here. You are a star. But the main thing I got from all of this is starts within, be kind, and look somebody in the eye. I love that. That's huge. Thank you guys, and we'll be back with more solutions, not slogans. Thank you. All right.
And cut, we're out of here now.
Did it. All right.
This is amazing.
So we got, this was good.